Since you guys voted on it, it's time for me to start making the part 4 of ranking every Mario Kart tracks. Today we're going to be doing a little bit less tracks than we did last time, which was still not a lot of tracks. And yeah, you know which ones are in the title. You saw it on the thumbnail and in the title. So yeah, in mainline Mario Kart there are 284 tracks, and with the Wave 6 of the Booster Course Pass coming out, I decided to rank all of them. Biggest mistake of my life, and now I'm here. 219 DS GBA Luigi Circuit. I've already expressed this, but if you haven't seen the other 3 episodes, come on, guys, you're really missing out on quite a bit of tracks. But if you really are intending of watching this video before the rest, I don't really like the DS retro tracks. I hate them a lot, and it shows here. Um, I'm not really going to go in too much detail as to why I hate this one because I'm going to go up to 218, which is GBA Luigi Circuit, the original. It's a rainy track. I do like rainy tracks. It's only so far below. It didn't make the top 217. Really, really non-specific number. It's not higher because it's way too drawn out. Like, I know it's a Lightning Cup track and it really shouldn't be so short, but it just drags on and on and on. And sometimes I wish you could just shorten it, GBA Luigi Circuit, because it just goes on and on and on. And it isn't, a Wario Stadium or a 3D or an N64 Rainbow Road, but it's still unnecessary time for a really visually unappealing track. Much like the last one we just had with Luigi Circuit, 217 and 216 are very closely related. They are both SNES Koopa Beach 1. 217 is SNES Koopa Beach 1 on the GBA, and this is lower because I've said this a couple of times. I don't really see the difference between the most of the GBA remakes and the SNES remakes. So when all of the deciding factors are crossed out, we have to move on to some factors that are not going to be taken into consideration when I ranked all of these, and that is music. Of course, obviously it has the same music, but I'm going on to the compression. If you've played the SNES tracks on the GBA, you can tell that the music is way more compressed. The music, just in general, in that game is compressed, and that's what led me to put this in 217th. 216th, SNES Group of each one, on the actual Super Nintendo Entertainment System from the previous millennium. It's crazy to think that 9 years is a different millennium. It's crazy to think of. But yeah, Koopa Beach 1 above. Yeah, it's a beach track. I do like beach tracks, but when it's a circle and it's also really bland and there's nothing to appeal the eye, it comes in 216th. 215 NSGBA Sunset Wilds. Yeah, I mean, I know most people would have definitely put it lower, and I know why. I mean, they cut half the track. They forgot to put in the most compelling element, which is, of course, the Shy Guys. No, I'm kidding. The sunset. You can't have a Sunset Wild without the sunset. And I did take all those factors into consideration, but I could only put it up to 215. I do actually like it. Like, if I was playing, random versus mode and it got selected, I wouldn't freak out and throw my controller against the TV. I would be fine. Of course, there's definitely a million ways they can make it better, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that'll happen. Hopefully, for the next game, if it is put in, which it probably is, hopefully they can find out a way to make it, better. 214 Wii Mario Circuit. I couldn't be border talking about a Mario Circuit track. This is the most cut and dry Mario Circuit track. If you were tasked to design a Mario Circuit track, you would probably come up with this because it is so generic. It is so generic. Like, honestly, it's like trying to design a Bowser's castle, and you make like, that Bowser's castle stage from the original Super Mario Brothers. Obviously, it's gonna work because it's the most obvious thing you could. It's so generic. I couldn't think of a more Mario Circuit track than this, and obviously that's why it's so low down. Obviously, if a track fits the bill, it would be great. It would be a great track if it was a creative idea and not Mario Circuit. 213. SNES Donut Plains 2. Donut Plains 2 is a pretty weak track. I mean, forgetting about the fact that it hasn't been remade yet, it's still really, really weak. It's not a good track. It's a Donut Plains track. Yeah, there's a lot of Monty Moles, which probably does bring it down. Because those Monty Moles, well, they suck. I don't like Monty Moles. So yeah, they suck. Yeah, any other reasoning? No, I really don't think so. 212. NS Hyrule Circuit. If you were to ask me 2 years ago, or actually, it's about to be 3 years. Holy, I've been doing this YouTube thing for a while now. Well, yeah, I made a video 3 years ago. I said the reason why the Triforce Cup was ranked so low in my video, where I ranked all the cups, of course, this was before the Booster Course Pass. I said that it was mostly down to Hyrule Circuit, which just really gave me a headache. And it still holds up. Hyrule Circuit is not my favorite. It has gone a little higher on my ranking since then, but it still isn't that top 200 track quality. 211. SNES Donut Plains 3. When you have the worst game of the series, have a track that is really not favorable, you got Donut Plains 3. The visuals, first off, awful. Um, yeah, they brought it back to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The visuals made it so much better. It's like unfathomable how much better it is. As for this version, it sucks. I don't recommend. 210. GBA Rainbow Road. GBA Rainbow Road is the most lackluster of the original Rainbow Roads, and I'll tell you why. It's a rainbow road. Yes, they made the road rainbow, but don't you think they could have made it feel more like space instead of more like, we had a black Paper Mario backdrop put on us and we're forced to race? Yeah, I guess the track it's a pretty cool design with the yellow jump pad stuff, but I think you would agree with me on my ranking. You might have even put it lower. 209. GBA Donut Plains 2. Well, really, GBA SNES Donut Plains 2. Yeah, I mean, it's not helped by the fact that it's an SNES track, but I really love the visuals that the Donut Plains track's got, and that alone is enough to put it above Hyrule Circuit, Donut Plains 3, and Rainbow Road GBA to get into the top 210. And it only really, if you think about it, barely missed out on the top 200 by 8 spots. So, yeah, it sucks for Donut Plains 2, but yeah, it's genuinely positive. But again, layout is weak. Most of it is pretty weak. 208 N64 Rainbow Road. I am on. Well, there's really two sides to the story. Team love N64 Rainbow Road. So if you're on that team, I'm guessing you're above the age of 30. And team hate N64. If you're on that team, I'm guessing you're under the age of 20. Let me know if you're right. Um, and then there's me. I am under the age of 20, but I'm not on team hate N64 Rainbow Road. I'm on team meh. Like I really it's really kind of hard to say what team I'm on because they're both pretty good. Like Love. Did I say this? But they're both. I said this track is pretty good. That's what I meant to say. Anyways, I mean, it does take 90 minutes to finish. I mean, I might as well just watch 5 basketball games. I don't know how long a basketball game is. That just shows how much I don't really care about basketball. So yeah, I could just watch so many other things. I could do many other things before I finish playing this track. But the music, which I know I'm not ranking, but still, and especially the graphics, really saved this from me being on Team Hate. But nonetheless, still only 208th. 207. GBA SNES Donut Plains 3. Like I just said for Donut Plains 2, yeah, sure, the track and land is meh, and that's why it's in the 200s, but the visuals it just sticks out. It pops out for me, and that's what I take away from Donut Plains 3. 206, Wii DS Yoshi Falls, as well as 204 DS Yoshi Falls, are the same thing. So let's just group them together and talk about why it is not so low down. Other people would have put this where I would have put Mario Circuit 3. If you didn't see the first part, you wouldn't get the reference. Yoshi Falls relaxes me. I already mentioned how much I wasn't really a fan of Figure Eight Circuit, but yeah, so like this just calms me down because it's a relaxing track. Like you can say it's boring, and I can see where you're coming from as to why Yoshi Falls you could call Yoshi Falls boring. But what you definitely cannot say is that if Yoshi Falls was a real place, you wouldn't buy it. Like you wouldn't live there. I would totally live at Yoshi Falls, but unfortunately, it's not a real person. Architects, please help me on that one. 204 N64 Wario Stadium. Now, from an infamously short track to probably the longest in the whole series, or at least one of the longest, and it hasn't been remade. N64 Wario Stadium. I feel like they want us to forget about it because as soon as they introduce retro tracks, the first game proper retro tracks were introduced, Mario Kart DS, they had a Wario Stadium in the Special Cup, and that track was remade in Mario Kart 8. So, as the only N64 track remaining, will it be in Mario Kart 9, or is Nintendo trying for us to forget about this track? I doubt it. I don't see why someone would actually think that. 203. NS Tour Paris Promenade. Paris, such a wonderful city. How could Nintendo possibly do a track in Paris? Well, I did think that they did it quite well. The only thing holding it back, we spent how much time under the Eiffel Tower? Maybe like 2 seconds? I wasn't alive for this, but my parents went to Paris. And there's actually quite a bit of things to do in the Eiffel Tower. Not like you can't go to a cafe or something, but it's definitely Mario Kart, you know, Mario Kart, worthy. It's worthy for Mario Kart. There's lots of things you can do in the Eiffel Tower for Mario Kart. Maybe like you go gliding off the top of the Eiffel Tower, and then you land on the Arc de Triomphe, and you start driving the rest of the track. I think that would be cool. And the music is the most stereotypically French thing ever, and it's actually it kind of came off as a bit not didn't come off the way it wanted to come off, I would say. Let's end off this video, and matter of fact, the whole of the 200s with two tracks that are basically the same. 202 GBA SNES Bowser Castle 3 and 201 SNES Bowser Castle 3. The undeniable GOAT of SNES Bowser Castles until November 9th, 2023. But in the original game, the undisputed GOAT of SNES Bowser Castle tracks, I feel like it's worthy around at the 200s. It's just so so unlucky to not be 200th place or higher. And with it being a flat track, I think we should give some praise to the Castle 3 tracks.